Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. So I've spent the last couple days, like what's with the dumpster? Spent the last couple days at a relative's house doing some pretty serious cleaning around their place, cleaning out just a whole bunch of stuff, decades worth of things, just piling up, really. I mean, the way that it works throughout life, and we end up filling this, I don't know if it's 25-foot, 30-foot dumpster just full of stuff. As well as 2 trips to Goodwill. What did we do? 1 trip to electronics, 2 trips to an electronics place, recycling some old TVs and stuff like that. Golly, what else did we do? There's another trip somewhere else as well. Oh, shredding a whole bunch of papers and stuff that we had, right? So got all that stuff taken care of. It was a great time to spend with family, etc. But spiritually speaking, it got me reflecting on really a couple things about life. I have this kind of rule around our house. I don't like to have extra space, because if I know we have the extra space, we'll probably end up filling it at some point in time, right? It's just, maybe it's part of human nature, maybe it's being an American, this idea that, well, I'll use that at some point, don't throw it away. And I got to tell you, sometimes I do end up using it, and then that reinforces that kind of behavior, and then I need to go back and use it again. But in terms of the spiritual life, it got me thinking about how, a bit of a burden, a little bit of baggage, right? Like this was taking up quite a bit of space in the house, and there was room in the house, but this stuff really wasn't getting used. And one of our criteria going through everything was, well, it might be useful, but will we actually use it again? Do you really need this? Could somebody else benefit from it? Can we give it to a St. Vincent de Paul or to a Goodwill? Can somebody else take advantage of it? And I in terms of the spiritual life, I think that there's something valuable for us here too. Is sometimes, years go by, maybe even decades, and there's some things that really need to be cleaned out. We dug into closets and storage areas and tore through totes and had some fun events where we had times where we're like, hey, we didn't even know we had this. Those are kind of fun little treasure finds, and my kids went home with a few extra things, which was kind of fun, right? But sometimes I think in our spiritual life, we also need to do this kind of a cleansing, where we need to take a serious look at, where am I at in terms of my spiritual life? What kind of baggage have I accumulated? I think it'd be an excellent opportunity to talk about the sacrament of reconciliation and how valuable the sacrament of reconciliation is to take advantage of clearing out a lot of that baggage. But even beyond reconciliation, taking the time to look at our relationships over the course of years, even decades, and where do those relationships need repair? And what kind of cleaning needs to be done in terms of those, right? Or often in terms of our hearts. What has happened to my heart over the last 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Where do I need additional cleansing in terms of my heart so that it can be more pure and more open and ready for God? I think that's a valuable question for us to reflect on as well. So this has actually been a really good opportunity with the family to go diving into this stuff, have some good family chats, get to enjoy a few memories and stuff like that. But I think the same can be true for healing relationships and cleansing out other things in our life. We can take opportunities to really reflect on where we've come from, maybe things that we've gone through that are positive, maybe negative. Reflect on those, get rid of the things that need to be gotten rid of. I think the sacrament of reconciliation is superb for those kinds of opportunities. But also I think to give thanks, which is something I don't think we do enough of, I think we can always do more. And one of the things I love about gratefulness and giving thanks is how it changes my attitude. It really makes me a lot more positive. It makes me a lot more generous because I feel and experience the generosity of God, and I want to share that. And as God's love is boundless and endless and he pours himself out to us, so too I think when we're really grateful, we have a tendency to imitate that type of love that we experience from God and share it with others. So it's a great opportunity to do that, to give away some of the things that we may not necessarily need. On this topic, let's talk about money just a little bit, because this is coming to mind. How much do I really need? What do I really need? What could be given away that could be a benefit to somebody else, that somebody else could really use, may really be in need of? As we've been tearing through boxes and boxes and totes and basements and closets and all kinds of stuff. There's several times where we're like, hey, this is something good. I appreciate having it. There's things that I could do with it, but there may be somebody else out there who needs it more. Okay. Or I already have one of these, or maybe even I have one of these and I have a backup of one of these. So the third one or the fourth one, do I really need that? Okay. So, being generous and being willing to donate those, I think that there's a lot of value to that as well. Financially, right? To go, okay, how much do I really need? How much would be an excess that may not actually be good for me to spend, and that there are others who really, really, really could use it a lot more than I, that it could bring great relief to their life. So looking at ways that those kinds of things and the generous gifts that God has shared with us, the ways that those can be shared. So these are just a few things that came to mind after cleaning out a home for a bit, and it's been a wonderful experience. On the most practical level, most literal level here, if you haven't taken the opportunity to clean out your house or your office or your car in a long time, I found the experience exhausting, but also very liberating going through it with my family members. And I think there was a little bit of some separation, hurt in a way, going through some of it and cleansing it all out and knowing that it's going to be gone. I think that there's some comfort to have some of this stuff around and available, even though it's not being used. But on the other hand, I've also had the opportunity to see in the last couple days the freedom that comes from giving it away and getting it out of the house. And then the wide open spaces that are left. I mean, you saw the dumpster there full. Left some good wide open spaces where there you can move through spaces a lot easier, not have to suck in my tummy so much, which is really nice. So, on the most literal practical level, if there's things that need cleaned out in your life, this would be my invitation to go attack those. I found it a really awesome experience the last couple of days to do that, both literally, physically, and spiritually. So I wish you all God's blessings and peace. Thanks as always to all of our patrons who support us and help us keep doing everything we do here at Passionately Catholic. And I will see you again in the next episode.